Hello, all the crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games, and welcome back to making a 3D wizard game, Zelda-like, in GameMaker. So last time, I implemented a decent number of audio-related effects, and I'm actually going to just go and get rid of all this right now, all my audio test code that I had, because I am going to be a little bit distracted if I have to hear that 30-second accordion loop for the duration of development, and I'm not going to include the audio track of the video anyway if it's not something, if the video isn't something that's directly related to audio. So that's just going to be a little annoyance. So I'm going to organize at least my obj_game code a little bit more for the time being, because I didn't do a lot of that last time. And this is definitely going to be a work in progress. This isn't going to be like I'm going to spend 10 minutes rearranging my code and it's going to be perfect. This is going to be, like, I can just get rid of a bunch of these test objects. I'll probably... We can get rid of the billboard test, for example. I'll keep the blocks and shapes and that kind of thing. I would like to have like a set material type or otherwise like shady uniform setting functions, so that I don't have to like type out this whole long thing every time I want to do that. As you can see, the ripple shader also has something like that. So I guess I'll start with that. So defer to rendering. I guess I'll make myself another script group here. Call this group material settings or something like that. And from here, I can just that was literally a group. I wanted a script named group material settings. Let me stick that in here. Chained workspaces in GameMaker are really weird. I've said before that they don't bother me as much as they seem to bother other people, but they're still a little bit weird. Let's say function material set material type. And there may be other functions that go with it, other like material uniforms that go with it eventually. I may want to make this like an enum. So something like enum. We can call one normal, we can call one unlit, and possibly, and I don't know if this is going to be overkill, and if this is actually something I'll ever use, but if shader current equals to -1, we can just not run this code because you can't do what I'm about to do with the default shader. Otherwise, we can say shader set uniform F. Actually, I'll switch the material type, and I'll do this in a switch statement. Case material types dot normal. Case material types dot unlit. The shader that we're going to get the uniform from is whatever the currently set one is, assuming it's not the default shader. The uniform name can be, I think that's what u_material type. This is why I don't want to have to type that out all the time, because I'm not going to remember it. And the value for a normal one can be 1, and the value for an unlit one can be 0. And again, there may be other material properties later on. I don't know if there will be or not. But for the time being, I can just say material set material type. I've already forgotten E. At least you get syntax highlighting with enums, which you don't get with strings. Dot normal, and up here it can be dot unlit, and nothing else should have changed. The face will be gone. The background, the skybox is still unlit. The actual 3D scene is still lit. Particles are a little bit of a beast of their own. They've got alpha blending on them because those are just like the default test particles that I've created. I do not think I will be doing anything with alpha blending with the actual particles that will actually be used in this game. I've got some thoughts on what I want to try with the art style of this game. I don't know how successful it will be, but I do want to try something, and I'll get more to that later. It probably will not be the pixel art that you see in this demo scene. I don't have anything against that. I like pixel art in 3D as much as anyone else, but I do. There is something I want to try. So we can set the material type like that. I'm a stickler for putting everything in the commit where it belongs, so I did separate the changing the audio, to getting rid of the audio test code and the material stuff. All right. So there's a part of me that wants an abstraction for matrix set, matrix world, matrix build, self camera X, camera Y, camera Z, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. There's a part of me that wants an abstraction for that, but I also kind of don't care enough about that as much as I care about everything else. Like at the end of the day, you do need your matrix builds, and you do need your matrix sets and whatever. And there's not that much of a point of trying to consolidate that. Like, I guess you could say, like, just transform set translation or whatever if all you care about is XYZ, but I'm typically not bothered enough by, like, the matrix set lines of code to want to write an abstraction for that. In all likelihood, everything between here and here will eventually be gone. This is including the ground, by the way. Since the way I'm planning it out is that all 3D objects in the game will just be 3D objects, and then the ground will be its own 3D object. I might have a height map for the ground, but I'm not completely sure. Maybe the ground can stay its own object. Anyway, I will, let's see, in pre-draw. Okay, good. We're setting up all the render targets as intended. In regular draw, we can, I'll just dump all that in a region. No, Game Maker, I don't want that. I'll just dump all that in a region. Skybox. Can also get its own region. So if you don't want to look at that, you can collapse it with good old helpful code folding. I'm glad to see that this appears to be working again, because I swear it was broken for a couple updates a while ago. All of this is going to be a region for all of the stuff in the 3D world. That's probably going to include NPCs at the same time. Not quite sure on that. And then down here, there's just like particles and the other stuff. All right, so that's better. This is like setting the lights, sending the light information to the deferred renderer is definitely going to happen up here. I don't know if it's worth like organizing and commenting this, because the post-draw event will almost certainly not be nearly as long. And then there's the step event. Okay. That actually wasn't as messy as I had in mind that it would be, so I guess we'll call it there. We can say organize the draw event a tiny bit, and now I think I'm going to evaluate where I am progress-wise just a little bit. So when this video comes out, I'm recording this on the 22nd of March. Week 7 is going to be the 29th of March, and this video should be going up on the 5th of April, assuming nothing goes catastrophically wrong. When did I set the deadline for this milestone? How do I use Codecks again? I can't remember. It's been too long. April 5th, April 6th, whatever. Did I say April 5th? Apparently that's a Tuesday. Okay, so I think I may have finished this a week ahead of time. I guess getting rid of the depth of field thing would have saved a week. If I had done that, which I'm still not sure if I want to do for aesthetic purposes, this would be exactly on time.
Hey.
So that's cool. Anyway, I guess I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning of this project in the week 0. I'm hoping to have this done in like about 2 to 2.5 years. Of course, it should go without saying that the world of computers moves fast, and who knows where Game Maker is going to be by then. But I'd like to have this wrapped up in about 2 to 2.5 years. If it goes longer, if it goes longer because I get a little bit carried away with level design and content creation, I won't be that upset. If it goes longer because the technology that the game is running on just implodes, I'll be a little bit upset with myself. I think I blocked out like 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that for level design. And if that goes longer because I get carried away with level design again, that's cool. That should be fun. I'll probably be live streaming most, if not all of that anyway. But hopefully I can keep the technology side of things on pace. I'm sure there are things that I'm gonna. Well, I know there are things that I'm gonna have to do that did not get written down because that's just how these things go. And I know that there are going to be things that take longer than I thought they should. But yeah, hopefully we can be more or less on schedule. So SSAO and achievements menu, those are in the would be nice to have menu. I'm actually going to rename this to maybe, because I'm also going to move the depth of field card there. And I also did say, actually, I don't think I said this. I forget if I said this or not. I may have. I have so far opted not to include like real shadows in the game for kind of two reasons. Kind of partially one, because in games where you're jumping around, it's often more helpful to actually just have a fake shadow under the player, so just like a circle under the player, so that the player can see where exactly they are in space and whether or not like they're on a platform and whether or not the perspective is lying to them or anything like that. So I'm definitely going to have that for gameplay purposes. But for aesthetic purposes, a shadow map for like the main directional light source, at least in outside levels. I'm not sure if this will be aesthetically pleasing because I do want to have like a bunch of like point lights in the level. I do want to have like a bunch of torches and fires and all of the spells in the game to have like tiny point lights attached to them. And I will not be implementing like cube map shadows for every single one of those. That would be utter insanity. And I don't know if that would visually clash with having a single shadow coming from like the sun. So I will write that down. I will give that actually, I'll give that no priority because I'm still uncertain if I want to do that at all. I'll give everything in this menu no priority. Effort, I guess I'll give that a 3. Shadow mapping is a bit of work, but I've done it enough times that it shouldn't take too long. And we can say that to the deck. And SSAO, I will unassign that priority. I will also unassign the depth of field priority. Okay. So that's where we are now. This last one I said I would move to basic gameplay. And I guess I can archive the basic rendering deck for now. Was that delete or archive? I think I deleted it. Oops. I didn't read the message that said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I just assumed it was the archive button. And yeah, that was the delete button. Is there an archive? I actually don't know. All right, whatever. Let's look at the burn down chart. So show metrics. This is where I am right now. This is my velocity. So we've actually got one of those like calculated for now. So effort points per week. Again, this is a little bit weird because I'm only recording, like I'm recording these in bulk and I'm only putting out one a week, so the velocity is not going to be super high. Okay, apparently if I want to see the metrics for the project as a whole, and I spent a good couple minutes messing around with this instead of just the metrics for a like individual milestone, I have to go to Decks and show metrics. I feel like that is a little bit unintuitive, but whatever. So the progress, the rate of burn down is going to be a little bit odd in this project, again, because I tend to record these videos in bulk and I only post about one a week. So the amount of like efforts per week is not going to be super high. Yeah, it should be a lot more fun to look at when time goes by and there's more data though. Estimated date to zero, 13th of August 2026. I hope it's not quite that long. I hope if I can average more like 5 points a week, 6 points a week, 6th November 2024, that's a little bit more reasonable. And that's assuming that a bunch of other stuff doesn't get like dumped on me also. Let's see. So that's the metrics. By the way, where do I go to like look at like, okay, the voting statistics? I'm curious. I haven't really been looking at this over time. I did see that one person upvoted the SSAO thing, which is neat. There's been a couple people looking at this map from YouTube, so that's interesting. Let's see. Lastly, for this this recap video, things that I would like to do next time. So I'm going to need to definitely create an entity hierarchy. So some basic OBJ players and whatnot. Do I want to add Juju's input system first? I'll decide if I want to do that next time also, but for now I'll put it in my hand. The entity render loop is going to be needed. Character can walk around is going to be needed, and character follows player is going to be needed. Not sure if all these are going to get done next time. Realistically, they won't, but I'll just decide which ones I want to pick off and in what order, which is kind of what the hand metaphor is really good for. Anyway. Later on, I will need to add my 3D collision system. I will need to add player collision with basic shapes, snow state, and some other things. Like snow state for player states, jumping, falling, enemy states like attacking, idle, patrol, that sort of thing. I'll need to get the Unity import set up. That's going to be fun, but it's probably going to come later in the basic gameplay sprint. But that's going to do it for this video. Sorry that not much development happened, but I do want to periodically do, like, project management videos, because I think it's a good idea to evaluate where you are once in a while. My name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. If you want the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the video description. There's not going to be many things in the repository over last time, because most of it was going to be me staring at Codecks. Anyway, I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week, one let's make a game like this, and one tutorial. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute to the channel, links to that can be found in all the usual places. I recently added some new additions, such as that for $10 a month, I will do some performance testing on your games on different devices. I hope you all find this interesting, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Zenjamin, VitroV, Squarecrow, Sindra Larson, Rowdy Coder, Manta Ray, Harold Guidry, Game Maker, Edward Holt, DJ Gibbles, and Army Armbuster for supporting these videos. If you want to support the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.